I'm getting ready to harvest my salad for lunch, and you'd be surprised how many people ask me how to harvest lettuce. Maybe beginners are growing lettuce for the first time and they start seeing their lettuce look amazing and they're not quite sure how to harvest, whether to harvest the whole plant or do it a different way. And it really depends on what your goal is for the lettuce and also how you're growing it. So let's take a look at all the different ways that you can harvest the lettuce you worked so hard to grow. If you've planted your lettuce where you have one large head like this, what I personally like to do is I like to harvest the outer leaves. You just trim off the leaf like that, put it in your salad bowl, and by doing this with the outer leaves, the center of the lettuce will continue to grow. And that way you don't have to harvest the whole thing all at once. Now, if you are serving a huge meal and you need more than just a few leaves for your own personal salad, then yes, you could harvest the entire head. Like this one right here, for example, you could take the whole head and you could just snip it here at the bottom. If you leave just an inch or two of a stump of that lettuce plant, it will continue to grow leaves after that. Now, in my experience, it doesn't grow as huge the second time around, but as long as you keep a little bit of the lettuce still intact, it will continue to grow leaves. Now, another option would be to harvest the entire thing, take it out, put a new plant in its place, like succession planting. And if you have a fresh lettuce plant to be able to do that with, then you're gonna be starting all over and get a large head again. So it really just depends on what your goal is. If you're needing to harvest a whole lot at once, or if you just need a few leaves, lettuce will continue to regrow until it gets to number one. When you start getting temperatures well into the 80s consistently, then it'll start to bolt if you don't have any shade methods or anything like that. It becomes bitter. But also, lettuce is designed to go to seed. So you will eventually see it start to develop a seed stalk and it'll start to bolt anyway. Even if it's not technically bolting, lettuce wants to produce seed. So you only have a certain amount of time anyway to get the lettuce leaves until that starts happening. But you'll notice it starts happening quicker as the temperatures start to rise. Now, the example that I gave in my green stalk was if you're planting one head of lettuce, that's what you need to do. But maybe you've decided to do a whole row of lettuce like I did with these mesclun greens. They are very tightly spaced, and in that case it's going to be a little different. You can see there's lots of different varieties here all together. You can still do the same process as far as taking the outer leaves and then harvesting them, or you can just take a little bit of a handful and cut, and then you've got your lettuce there. Now, as long as, again, you leave a little bit of a stump, it'll continue to regrow. But it really just depends on what you want and also the age of the lettuce. Again, eventually the lettuce is going to go to seed regardless of what you do. And so it just is a matter of if you want to harvest it all or not. This is one reason I do like densely planting lettuce like this, because you've got lettuce for days. If you're a little bummed about the prospect of losing your lettuce to heat or age, then I have a solution for you that has helped me to be able to get salads all summer long. Yes, even into the hundreds, but just takes a little bit of extra planning. So lettuce itself does not like the heat, but different kinds of greens can take the heat a little bit better. And when harvested young, these greens will actually do great in salad. They're a little bit less bland compared to lettuce, and I say that like it's a bad thing. For some people it is. Some people don't like the flavor of all these greens, but I find that I actually prefer them. This is a greens mix from Johnny's called Cheap Frills Mix, and if you harvest it young, then it's not going to be too bitter or too pungent. But you need to harvest early, you need to harvest it young, because the more mature that it gets, the more pungent it's going to be. And then you've got other greens mixes as well. I think this one here, these are the Ovation greens mix, and then we have a premium greens mix. These I love to be able to grow almost all year round, but my star is arugula. I am continually planting arugula all season long. Again, if you harvest it early, it's going to not have the bite. And even the bite of these greens, they're not bitter like lettuce. If you've ever harvested lettuce and put it in your salad and you hadn't realized that it's already started to bolt, then trust me, you don't want to experience that. But with these arugula and other brassica greens, they typically are not going to do that. That's why I'm constantly harvesting and then planting, harvesting and planting all season long. With these, you don't have to plant just one. You can plant a whole pocket full and then harvest them young. And it's super easy, and it's a really great way to make sure that you have your salads all season long.